Okay, so when you open up Canva, you have a search bar at the top that allows you to search for the size or template that you're looking for. What is a huge pain about making graphics for social media is that you don't always know what the optimal sizing is, and then that takes a lot of digging, and you have to do these custom dimensions in Photoshop or somewhere else. Canva is amazing because it already has the sizes already set out for you. So right here, if you look underneath each template, it tells you the pixel sizes, and these are the optimal dimensions in pixels for each social media platform. For example, Facebook, if you notice, this is a pretty small size. If you try to upload a really high resolution image to Facebook, it's going to look terrible. As a photographer, I have seen my clients do this with photos that I send them, and it's incredibly frustrating. So as you can see, the sizing here is already adjusted for you. It saves you so much time and allows you to have an optimal quality image or graphic on your designated platform. Now I'm going to show you guys how to make a post from scratch. There's absolutely no shame in using a template. I've often started with a template and then made something look completely different. So another feature I didn't talk about is the photos. There's a lot of stock photos in Canva. And if you aren't a photographer, but you find that you want an image to kind of spice up your post, using the paid version of Canva gives you access to so many more stock photos than just the free version. I find that this is one of the areas where the difference really shows in paid versus free Canva, is access to much better stock images when you have Pro. But you could select an image like this and make it your background. If you didn't want to use different graphic elements, you could use something like this and easily make it a background. You just kind of hold it over the whole square and it'll automatically size it to fit the background. I won't be using a stock image as a photographer. I have kind of a pride thing about using stock images, though I have done it in the past. I try not to because I have so many of my own images anyway. We're making a post to promote fall minis, like I said. So we're going to use an image from last year's fall minis of my friend Julianne's family because they're just so beautiful and I love this picture of them. But we're going to size it to fit a majority of the square, but not all of it. I want kind of the top part to fit the text that says fall minis, and then just leave a little bit of space at the bottom. As you can see, I easily cropped out part of the top and centered it. I want to add a little bit of depth, so I'm going to find a little doodle print to put in the background behind my text. And when I go into elements, I can just type fall and see what comes up. And there's so many beautiful little graphics that Canva designers create for their platform that I just really appreciate because it makes my life easier. I can design these things myself, but sometimes I don't have the time to really sit down and make something, and I just love the convenience of Canva. So, like I said, free gives you access to plenty, like this little pumpkin and those leaves. But as you can see, the rest of these really beautiful elements are all pro. So that's, again, kind of where the big difference comes in between a free and a paid Canva. But I'm going to select this beautiful kind of wallpaper doodle for my background. And I'm going to use the duplicate tool. I'm going to size it to kind of how big I want the doodles to be, and place it here at the top. I'm going to scroll over to duplicate. I duplicated it twice because I think I'm going to need about 3 of them, or it looks like 4, so I'm going to duplicate it again. And as you can see, they line up perfectly. I think they really were meant to kind of be used as a wallpaper. And there they go, they fit perfectly. As you can see, there's a bit at the top, so I'm going to pull this picture forward to the front so that you don't see the doodles on the top. I really want them to kind of be the background. I'm going to select all of them and group them, and that makes them all one element, which is really nice too. I use this tool all the time. And then I'm going to duplicate that so that it can go on the bottom as well. So it looks like it's the background wallpaper behind this beautiful picture. So I want one more kind of little leaf sticking out over on the right corner of the image. I don't love this maple leaf. It looks a little bit too realistic and kind of clashes with my doodles. So I'm going to select this leaf instead, which I really like, and size it and adjust it. No, don't like that. I'm going to pull it back. There we go. And I'm going to resize it a little bit. There we go. Now we're going to select the text that we want fall minis to be in. So I'm going to kind of look around, look at my options. I have my brand heading saved, the font that I like to use for most of my branded stuff, but I don't love how it looks on this element, and that's okay. Like, I don't have to use my branded font for everything. So I can just kind of scroll through. I mean, there's so many options here. And again, they kind of vary according to whether you have the paid or the free Canva. But we're gonna go with this beach, please. And I know it doesn't look like it matches right now, but once I kind of mess around with it, it's gonna fit in perfectly. So I've typed in fall minis, put it at the top. We're gonna change the color. It reads the colors in the photo, which I think is really cool, and automatically creates a palette based off of that. So we're gonna pick this sienna brown, which I absolutely love this color. It's just the like fall color that I always think of. As you can see, the drop shadow from the template is still blue. So when I go to effects, I can edit the color of the drop shadow and thicken it a little bit. The pink doesn't really stand out, so I think I'm going to go with a deeper brown. And this one's a little mauve-y, and I want it to be more brownish. So I'm going to actually pull up the colors and select it manually until I find a color that really works for me. And that one looks good. I also think the letters could be a little bit bigger and maybe further apart. So I'm going to go to line spacing and just space out the letters a little tiny bit. Like I said, this is one of my favorite tools to play with. I find that it can really make a difference. And there we go. Now I need to add the dates of the fall minis. That's kind of what I'm going to feature on this leaf. So they will be in November. And for this, I think I do like my subheading font. So we're just gonna size it, change the color. We're gonna go with this softer pink. Add a little bit of a lift to it so it stands out over this leaf. And then I'm going to duplicate this box because I'm going to create a separate box for the individual dates. And as you can see, the dates are just a little bit too far apart from one another in height. So that's something I can adjust here in the same places. I can adjust the letter spacing. I use this feature a lot too for things like this. Now, I'm not loving the leaf design. I'm going to go back into elements and see if there's a leaf that kind of fits better. And wow, this is perfect. So it's a little bit softer, doesn't clash as much. This orange was just really, really bright, and the harsh black lines were kind of not what I was vibing with. So I'm gonna rotate this leaf around and move the text again. And there it is. There you have it. We created an Instagram post. As you can see, when you do it from scratch, it does take a little bit longer than if you were to use a template. But I am kind of a control freak and I love creating something from scratch. But like I said, there's absolutely no shame. I mean, look at how beautiful all of these templates are. Like, I've used them, and for something like an Instagram post that has such a short lifespan, I think it's worth it. And so another cool thing is, if you wanted to use this for not just Instagram, but maybe like Facebook and other platforms, you can go to resize, and all you have to do is select the other size that you want to make it, and either resize, which would actually use the file that you are currently on and resize, or you can copy and resize, which would save what you're working on and then create another file where it is now in the optimal size for a Facebook post. So this does require more playing around, because as you can see, there's this space here and here where the picture doesn't stretch all the way. So I would probably have to play around with the composition, but it's such an easy step. Up here at the top right is where I can change the title. If I connect my social media accounts to my Canva, I can share directly from Canva. I personally choose not to do that. I prefer to download my PNG, save it, and then upload it, because I just like having all of my PNG files. But it's so easy. All you do is go to download. It already has it saved in the suggested file type that you need. You hit download, and that's it. There it is. There's my design.